Okay, this week is probably going to be rant time because next week I'll be getting into the review of the champion program as I kind of tie things up and get ready for the Athlete X Live event in a couple weeks and everything. So this week it's pretty much going to be all about gaining and pretty much maintaining self-respect and everything. Most people nowadays are pretty much obese. You get winded going up a flight of stairs. You have pretty much no muscle mass, so like when you're falling, you can't save yourself. You pretty so like with getting, like I said, winded going up a flight of stairs. You have no VO2 max. Being obese and everything, you pretty much have no mobility. So you're pretty much setting yourself up for failure. That should tell you that not only do you not have your training in order, you don't have your nutrition in order, and like I said, like with being obese and everything, with the average person being obese, you don't have mobility in order either. So and chances are you're surrounding yourself with shit people too and everything. So the way the big thing is the way you can get into this is link some stuff and everything for you to be able to get started. So by not taking care of yourself, that's the ultimate screw you could have to yourself, and that's pretty much the total lack of the self-respect that you could have for yourself. So you got to ask yourself, like, if you have no self-respect, how can other people truly and utterly respect you as well? And like the thing is, like with nutrition, if you're constantly eating garbage, you're in a sense the internal voice that you have, it's basically saying as you're eating those potato chips, it's like fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. So again, I'm going to link like the thing, some links so you can get into like a training. So now with me mentioning Athlete X and everything, so I'll link. That's going to be one of the links that I'm going to provide and everything, because I've had massive success with the Athlete X programs. I've done AX1, AX2. I've done 3 of the 18 NXT programs. No, those ones are the 1 month long programs. So what's great about those is they're kind of like, in a sense, like mini programs. They're like little sprints. I've done things like Monster Maker. I've done Max Size. I've done Max Shred, uh, Monster Maker, Max Shred, Max Size, Old School Iron, Jacked. Uh, um, I've done All American Muscle. Like I said, I've done I'm in the process of doing finishing up the Champion program. I've done Bane, Dragon. Bane training is like a 1 month, like in a sense, NXT program. That's in a sense based off Bane training, like a lot of carries and calf work and everything. And there's Dragon program, another 1 month program that's pretty much based on Bruce Lee's training. And so I was had success with those 2 programs as well and everything. So you got to look at it take this step back, and like when someone says someone like me says you pretty much have a screw you attitude towards yourself. You guys they hold up, instead of having that emotional knee jerk reaction, like, oh hey, he's an asshole. He's telling me that I have that fuck you attitude towards myself. Realize that when you take a step back and don't have that emotional knee jerk reaction, like, wait a sec, where is he coming from? Okay, he's talking about getting things in order, and okay, let me go back to his other videos and look at what he talks about: training, nutrition, supplementation, uh, pretty much mobility, surrounding yourself with good people, like for your community. As my cat is always searching for attention when we get these videos. Yeah, you're going to tell people that they got to take care of themselves? Yeah, yeah, you take care of yourself, don't you? Yeah, you chase your brother around all the time. Oh yeah, now you want to go. Anyway, so the analogy I use for a community is pretty much like the happy hour analogy. Are you sitting there on Friday night at like 5 o'clock, going to happy hour to get yourself shit faced, which pretty much is the ultimate screw you attitude you could have towards yourself? Or are you actually having things set up, like your gym bag and everything, so you can grab and go, so you can go to the gym instead on a Friday night, which is like kind of like a perfect way for you to help build that self-respect and everything. So, like I said, by not getting your nutrition in order as well, you're doing that daily screw you attitude towards yourself and everything. Now, I also talk about mental health and everything. So if you are in a position where you do need mental health, professional health with that, then you do it, because if you look at the in the DSM, there's so many mental disorders, and like from substance abuse to yeah, borderline personality disorders. There's PTSD. There's depression. There's anxiety. There's so many in there. So by going in and getting in a sense professional help, you can kind of get all this the software that's up here kind of dewormed, or get all the viruses that are in that software out there, and in conjunction with your training, start in a sense unfucking yourself. So what you want to do is take a look at where were you 10 years ago. When I'm recording this is in pretty much the beginning of June 2025. So take a look back and where were you in June of 2015? Chances are you're 10 years further down the road of those negative consequences of setting yourself up for future failure and everything. So while you can't change those past 10 years, what you can do is sit here and realize, hey, look, I've got to get my priorities straight. I've got to get my shit in order. I need to start hitting the gym. I need to start getting my nutrition in order. Now, with nutrition plans, there's no perfect nutrition plan. So this is where supplementation comes in handy. It helps you, in a sense, plug those gaps that you're going to have in any nutritional approach. Because the whole idea of getting nutrition is getting in those macronutrients of protein, fat, and carbs, and those micronutrients of the minerals and vitamins that we need, in a sense, to function and everything. So this is pretty much going to be a rant video of telling you, hey, look, it's time that you unfuck yourself. So like I said, I used the analogy of look at yourself, where you were 10 years ago, June 2015 to now, or June of 2025. Chances are you have 10 years worth of damage of shit nutrition, no training, working on no mobility. Your mental health is probably trash and everything. So what you can do is, hey, look, I can start today and realize in 10 years from now, in 2035, instead of being 10 years further down that road of pretty much relying on medicine to kind of keep me a walking, talking zombie, I can start fixing the problems now. Now, it's not going to be an overnight fix. It's going to take time. It took me 2 years to pretty much get things in order. So now the great thing is it was 2 years to undo 13 years of damage and everything. So the timeline to fix stuff is a lot less. So in a sense, 20% of your journey is going to, in a sense, set that foundation. In 2 years, you're going to get by consistently getting your training in, you're going to get that locked in. You're going to get your nutrition in, because hey, look, you're going to start seeing progress with your training. Hey, look, I wanted to make even more progress, so I'm going to want to get my nutrition in check. Okay, well now I need to start worrying about mobility, so I can start in a sense improving upon that stuff, that my training and nutrition. So you start getting into yoga, you start getting into stretch and everything. You start seeking out better people to surround yourself, because then you realize that most people, you got to realize most people die at 25. They just aren't buried until they're 75. That's not the way to live. It's pretty much just punch out in 25, the age of 25. Yep, I got my degree, I got a college degree, I got a good job, I'm starting my family, and just basically go through the motions of life. That's why most people die at 25, and they aren't buried until they're 75. Don't be one of those people. The whole idea is spend the next 10 years getting yourself, in a sense, like I said, unfucked. Start you can do what I did and just go pretty much Hambone Jones on going to the gym, or you can sit there and maybe do the 10,000 steps, get your nutrition in check. What you need to do is check out the links and stuff that I'm going to be providing. So for training, with the Athlete X, and the great thing about that is that all the programs have a nutrition plan, in a sense, embedded in them, so you can follow. So you got your training and nutrition. Now you're just going to need your supplementation. I'm going to provide a link for that too. So now you've got yourself a good core foundation. So if you think about it, over the next 2 years, following the same path that I did, you're going to get the AX1 program done and the AX2 program. So there's 6 months. And then if you get like, okay, you follow things right in order the way they were released, you follow the 18 NXT, so there's another year and a half. So you got 2 years of training underneath your belt. By then, you have your nutrition and your supplementation all in order. And so there's like two of the 7 things. Well, three with being consistent every day. Then like four, you work on like surrounding yourself with better people, because like by going to the gym, you're going to automatically start surrounding yourself with better people, because people that go to the gym are there to improve themselves. They're not worried about getting like completely stupid shit faced on like happy hour, like the analogy that I like to use. And then like your your sleeping is going to start getting better. So in a sense, your recovery is going to indirectly start getting better. Now again, professional help with mental health and everything. uh, there's another way to start getting things in order. So like over the course of 2 years, you got your foundation. Then you start over the course of the next subsequent 8 years, you're going to start realizing like, hey, look, I lost X amount of weights. I put on Y amount of muscle and everything. I got my mobility in check, training, nutrition, supplementation. My sleep is good. My mental health is constantly improving. You're then going to start looking at like, okay, I just achieved all of this in this amount of time. What else can I achieve? Because that's the ultimate goal. It's not just sit there and punch out of life and be like, oh, yep, like I said, be dead at 25 and just be waiting to be buried at 75. It's all about what else can I accomplish and everything. And that's why you want to get all of this shit in order. Your training, your nutrition, you want to, your community, you surround yourself with good people. You want to make sure you're getting your sleep in order, your recovery. You want to make sure you're concentrating on like getting mobility in too. Take care of your mental health. And 7 is the consistency. Now it's fine and dandy if you do all this stuff for 2 weeks, but it doesn't do you jack shit. You can take 3 months off and everything. So this is why you got to, over the course of the next 10 years, start pounding away day after day after day, and you're going to look back and you're going to look at all the progress that you made. And then when you come back to this video, you're going to be like, well, look at me. I just did all this in 10 years. What else can I accomplish? And that's the whole point. What else can you accomplish after you get all this shit in order?